everybody, this is Lila in Hawaii. I'm making a few things today for my website, but also they could be for Mother's Day or any time really, because they're sachets. And the weather's not been the best here, so I thought I would sit on my lanai a lot and do some embroidery, and so this is the outcome. So I wanted to show you how I went about making these lovely linen sachets. First of all, I had some linen napkins, and this is how they are. This is one of the ones that I used, and they were an awful icky, I called icky, yellowy, that old-fashioned 60s yellow, but they are beautiful linen. So first of all, I bleached them, and this was a dark orangey yellow. So I bleached them. I had to bleach them quite a bit to get them to look like this, but the fabric is so beautiful. So I did that, and then after they had dried in the sun for a couple of days, I then tea dyed them, and this was the color that they became. So there's a big difference. This is much nicer to me. This looks nicer, is nicer, and is what I wanted. So we'll put that aside, and I'll show you what I did. I made these little pouches out of two pieces. So I took off the top here, and I'm not showing you the other piece because I don't have it in front of me. However, I took two pieces and I made them about 5 by 6 inches, and so I'll put that aside. And then before I even put them together, I did some embroidery. So the way I did the embroidery was or did the design was I put a piece of lace on the lower part, and then I put a little bouquet of flowers on each, and I'll tell you about these. These ones, this particular bouquet is made with DMC thread, embroidery thread, and I used the full strand because I wanted a sort of a strong, shabby look, you know, sort of a country look. So these are full strands, 6 strands. Normally you would only use 2 strands for embroidery, or possibly 3. And it's just a collection of roses and daisies and leaves and French knots and things. And then I sewed some trim on the top and tied it with some twine. And so I'm going to show you where I'm at. I'll do the top, talk about this one. This one I made 3, 6, 8. This one's ribbon work, and I made 8 ribbon rosebuds in a circle with one in the center, and I used, I think, 3 different shades of 7mm silk ribbon, and then I put French knots around the edge and some green stems and sort of leaves, just a very stylistic look. So now I'm going to show you how I did I've sewn up the bag. I've sewn it across the bottom and up the sides, and I was lucky to have a finished edge on all of them because of the way I cut the fabric. I cut it this way, so it's the edge of the napkin, so it was like so, you might say. However, I needed 2 pieces, but I had this at the top, so I didn't have to do that. And I found this lace that I liked. I liked it. It had that sort of country rustic look to it. So I'm going to show you how I appliqued that on there. And I did it with a zigzag stitch. And so all I did was I started the back on this, and I laid the lace. I'm going to work inside the bag. So I laid the lace there, and I'm going to hope that this works where I want it. Starting it off can be kind of fiddly, actually. Good, that went just fine. And when I came to the seam, I opened it. I've come to where I have to join them, and I'm going to join them on the back, and I'm not going to join them any particular way, except I'm cutting it off, overlapping. I'm going to have to put the needle down in the fabric for a minute, and I'm overlapping it a bit. Okay, so that's done. Okay, so now that's done. So there's the lace on the top. And it worked pretty well. Sometimes it misses and I have to go around again. So now I will get my lavender. And I just received a new, I keep my lavender. I don't know if I've shown you this before. I have this very old tin, very old. It was from England. And I keep my lavender in there. I also keep some pieces of stuffing, and I may use a piece of the stuffing as well, but I also use some other stuffing. And I keep my lavender in there. I keep my scoop in there. I've got a couple of scoops. I keep my oil, refreshing oils in there. So everything's in there. So the first thing I'm going to do is put a little bit of stuffing in the bottom of this. Then I put, for these, I sort of have a theory of how much. I put 4 scoops of lavender. 1, 2, 3. I should have done it over the tin. I'm sort of messy. So that's 4 scoops of lavender. Oh, yeah, I wish you could smell it. And then I'm going to take some of this perfumed cotton and put that on top. And I think that's about it. So I'll take that. And I just bought a pound of lavender from a lady that I always buy online from, and she's very good. So I will link that down below, because I'm not recommending anyone particularly, but she's just great. And her lavender is great, because sometimes you get lavender, and it's all dust or something. Okay, so now I've got the twine. I'm going to tie a bow around the top. And the thing I haven't mentioned to you is, before I finalize these, I will hand sew around there to keep it all together. But for the purposes now, just to show you, I'm just going to, and this is about 2 feet. So I'll just show you how they would look. And later on I will undo them, and I'll go and I'll stitch around them so that the lavender doesn't fall out. And I stitch by hand. I just stitch it like a big running stitch. So I hope you can see those. I'll bring this one closer. So they're very pretty, actually. Nice gift for Mother, but also a nice gift for any time. So that's just the way I really reuse a whole lot of linens. That's what I have to do, because I live in the islands and I can't buy any of this sort of stuff. So I utilize what I have, and I was lucky to have a friend who went to an estate sale, and he bought me 10 of these yucky yellowy green napkins. And at first when I saw them, I was horrified. I went, oh, I said, oh, thank you so much. Now the only solution is to go and bleach them, so I did that. So I've used almost all of them. They've been really handy. I actually used some for book pages, and I used some of them for trims. I took the trim off here, took that off, and I used it to edge book pages in some altered books I was making. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Let me just put that on the right color there. I'll see you next time. This is Lila in the Islands. Aloha.